Hey, wrestling fans. Welcome to the One Wing Wrestling Podcast, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bring you the best matches, world class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Wing Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. My name is Christian Nye, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Bill Cutbush. Bill, how's it going?
I am currently savoring a very delicious sip of a very hot coffee. So life is good. Life is good. Yeah, life is very good. We had some very bizarre weather today. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
can't start this without our usual Wednesday weather chatter. So yeah, it was quite something. We got sun, nice, and then it went rainy, and we got steady rain. Then we got snow, and now we have sun again, and it's really windy and cold.
And yeah,
So
it's freezing. The temperature dropped like I think it was like in the like no, we are in the plus earlier today, and then it's like -10 suddenly,
yes,
and you feel it.
oh yeah,
You
and
feel
for
it.
those of you south of the border, -10 would be probably around like what's that, like 22 degrees down there? 32 is their zero, right?
Zero,
So
yeah. So
yeah.
22, yeah,
Yeah,
around
about
that.
22-ish. And we were up around, I don't even know how to tell what the plus 10 would be.
Yeah.
I don't know, like 45. I have no idea. Mm, that is a good cup of coffee. Hmm. How are you doing?
Good, good. Obviously the weather was kind of nuts, like watching it change from rain to some kind of a downpour of snow and then back to rain, and I was like, this is crazy. Um yeah, and then the crazy wind. Oh my goodness, knocking down garbage cans and stuff
Oh, I
outside.
know.
So yeah, it's one of those days, but it's the middle of the week, so
Yep.
that's at least a good thing.
Exactly. I got to watch a construction accident today. Very minor one across. There's a, for those of you who don't know, there's a house being built across the street from me. And they were unloading, I guess it's those wooden panels you use for the
Mhm,
foundation before you pour the foundation to like mark out where the walls are going to be or whatever. And they
mhm.
were unloading them off the truck, and the guy just made a wrong thing with the crane, and the whole batch of them dumped everywhere. I was like, wow, at least no one was hurt. But geez,
Yeah, that's
man,
good. That's
geez.
true.
Yep. Anyway, so yeah, I get to watch construction antics all day now from my office window, so it's good times.
It's nice.
But that is not why we're here today. We're not here to talk about weather. We're not here to talk about construction. We're not even here to talk about this. Did I mention how delicious this cup of coffee is? We're not even here to talk about that. What we are here to talk about today is AEW Dynamite, because this is our Dynamite show. We are going to predict the card. We're going to look at the 6 matches in one segment that we are aware of thus far, see what we think might be good, might be bad, try to pick our match of the night, and will anything reach the Omega level potentially? And then we're going to go away. We're going to watch the show. We're going to come back. And then we're going to review the show and see if our predictions were met, if our expectations were met, not met, and if anything actually did meet the Omega level. And of course, if you are listening to this, we truly appreciate each and every one of you. And if you want to give us that review, 5-star preferred, of course, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, anything, download our podcast, listen to us. We appreciate every single one of you who comes back week after week to listen. So thank you. But before we actually into Dynamite, our weekly show, we discussed a certain Instagram post by a certain notorious individual, and shortly after that, the next day, in fact, Jon Moxley appeared on Renee Paquette's The Sessions with his wife, and his wife being Renee Paquette. For those of you who may not know that, but I'm pretty sure like 99.9% of the wrestling community knows that Renee Paquette is Jon Moxley's wife. But anyway, he of course right off the top addressed the stuff with CM Punk. He did point out, yeah, there was drama in the dressing room. In fact, he called it the worst drama he'd ever seen in any company he'd worked for. That's not surprising. What really bothered me, but I'll get to that in a minute. But he said that, but then he went on with a lot of really interesting stuff that had nothing to do
Yeah.
with that, right? His respect for the elite, very clear through the podcast, right? And the fact that he wrestled without a contract. And he said,
Mhm.
listen, I could have taken that belt because he was the champion working with no contract. Because I could have walked in on SummerSlam weekend into WWE if I'd been so inclined, but that's not how he does stuff. So, and he's like, I was doing them a favor. No kidding. If I needed more reasons to like Jon Moxley, this podcast gave them to me. And then, oh man, is talking about that Texas death match, but we can get into that in more detail on Monday
Yeah.
if you like. For now, we can kind of stick to the major news
Y-
elements of it. But
Yeah, and I mean like obviously addressing like he didn't even want to address it, but he said, because
mm,
he said this it's such BS, right?
yeah,
Um and I took the comment of the, and I'll get back to CM Punk saying, but I took the comment as this is the most drama I've ever seen anywhere, as not the most, obviously it's negative, but I mean, like, not the worst thing. I just kind of felt that's him kind of saying like the other places controlled it better, right?
100%.
And that's, and we've said this from the beginning, Tony Khan, get your shop in order, right? But him coming out and like shocking the world with kind of like, I wasn't under contract. I was like, what?
Yeah, I know, right? Are you kidding me?
He wrestled throughout the summer. Then I love how they reiterate the whole a story of the Rocky story of like, yeah, that was meant to put you over. Like, and just so you know, he didn't mention CM Punk's name once in the interview, because he's you can tell how fed up he is. You can tell how absolutely fed up he is with this.
Yep.
So, and he mentions like, I wouldn't have signed a long-term contract. I didn't know what I was gonna do. And then obviously we know Jon Moxley has signed a long-term contract with AEW. But yeah, it was a really, really good interview. Like, he said what he needed to say without even saying much.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yep.
So like, you know, everyone can think what they want to think, and he says it too. Everyone can think what they want to think, but he's not gonna lie about this stuff. Like, if it was something, he would say it, and he just thought it was absolute BS. He blamed social media as well. Like, and of course, I love when he said, you know, someone stupidly puts up a drunk text. Yeah. And then they take it down. And you know what? You said it the other day. Like, maybe something happened. CM Punk was just not thinking, and he posted it and then thought, "Oh my god, what the heck did I just do?" and took it down again. Right? Yeah. But like, Mox even comes down and says, "We've all done this. We've all done this before." But he was just so fed up with like the drama. I kind of feel like, from what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, it's like, yeah, whatever like bridges there were to mend it's done. Like whatever it is, it's done. Like, he's moved on. Like, he talks like, I did appreciate the fact, like, if you notice, he actually had a really high praise for Marina Shafir, like,
yeah, and that well, it was when he was going on about his coaching, right? Because he clearly he loves coaching. And I thought, like, I loved the part once they got away from all the CM Punk crap and I got into like his I love listening to the guy. I find him such an authentic, real human being. You know, like, he comes across as, he knows himself, he knows what he's good at, he knows what he doesn't like, and he just does what he loves. And I mean, I have so much respect for that. And, you know, he's talking about coaching Marina Shafir and how she's got the whole package. I found it interesting. The things he mentioned she needs to work on are the things I always notice in her match. Can't run the ropes really well yet. You know, still needs to work on selling. Like, no kidding. Yeah. But like, those are all fundamental wrestling skills. But then it made me think, you know, if he sees that much potential in her, you know, once she gets the training under her, she could really be something. So, you know, I'm going to start watching Marina Shafir's matches with a slightly different look at them now.
Well,
so
I had said, you know, the Marina Shafir Athena match for a couple of weeks back, probably her best match. Like, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, and I actually thought of that while I was listening to that part of the podcast. Oh yeah, Krishna mentioned that match a couple of weeks back.
And I was thinking to myself, you know, listen, like, if Mox sees like the talent in her, that's probably why she's doing a lot of dark and elevation, right? She's been like, listen, if there's one person who consistently does dark and elevation, it's her, right? So she's getting her reps in. As he says, you know, like, I like the way he pointed out, kind of like, you know, back in the day, like, you signed up and like, you're getting reps every single day with people, so you know, you're getting it in and you're learning. He's like, now sometimes, because they don't have many shows, it's like, you get one rep in, then you gotta take it away. You may not wrestle for another week, if that, right? So that's why some of these things are lost. And I love how he's like, I don't even want to consider myself a coach. Like I love giving people advice, but I don't even like calling it advice. I'm like, he's just talking.
I know he doesn't even want to be a formal coach. He's just like, I just want to do stuff.
People. Yeah, I want to help people. I want to do stuff. I want to fight. But yeah, no, I thought genuine like responses. Such an amazing. I laughed. I just at his response to the entire debacle with Punk. Just kind of saying, this is not worth my time. Like, and he said, why are we even talking about this? There's so many wrestling matches we should be talking about.
And of course he mentioned, you know, why we're not talking about Kenny Omega and you know, the Kingo. You know, we're not talking about the Great Revolution pay-per-view that just happened, right? Like, we're not talking about these things. And he's completely right. Because we should be just enjoying wrestling. Because that's really what this is all about, right? It's why you and I are saying, we're not sitting here to like revel in the drama. I agree
No,
totally. I would love to just put that kind of crap behind and focus on the
wrestling.
wrestling, which he did for the vast majority
Mm-hmm.
of that podcast. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
learned so many interesting things about how he puts matches together,
Yeah.
right? Death matches, how uncomfortable Renee gets during his death.
Yeah. Like she said, she
So,
couldn't really watch the Hangman
mhm.
match, right?
No. Yeah, so yeah, it's very interesting. It's just I found the whole conversation to be incredibly interesting. So, any of you haven't heard it yet, it's 100% worth checking out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and don't be one of those people like I saw a lot of the WWE supporters, shall we say, taking that one line out of the entire podcast, going, see, AEW's a mess.
But he even says, I don't mean this
Hmm.
in a negative way. He goes,
Yeah,
I love
well,
working here, but
if you can take in today's day and age, if
Mhm.
you can take one line completely out of context and burn a person for it, then of course that's what people do. These like he's not wrong about the social media trolls, right? It's
But
everywhere.
I mean, like, if you want to rewind to 2 weeks ago when Darby Allin came out and said, all the people crying in the back room and going on social media, and he's
Well,
not lying. He's telling,
he is telling the truth. Meltzer called him out for that, the way
why
on his
breaking the,
podcast. Yeah, just
what did he?
because stop burying your own company live on
But
television.
I didn't take that as him burying the company. I think I
No.
took that as this is the truth. People need to like.
Hmm.
I took that as Tony Khan. Like, as much as I dislike WWE and stuff they do, there are some things they have in order,
Hmm.
right? And the social media and all that stuff. Where when Vince had banned people for going on to like Twitch and stuff like that, there are reasons behind this. Right? Some people are not the smartest in the world and they do stupid things. We all do stupid things, right?
Hmm.
And that's what he was trying to prevent. Like you're going to be damaging the actual brand. I get
Yep.
it now. Like now seeing what's happening in AEW, I totally get
Yep.
it. So I
Yeah,
have
I mean,
faith that
Mox put it right
yeah.
too. It's like this
Mm.
kind of thing happens in today's age with all the social media,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
Mm.
But fortunately, we can just enjoy the wrestling, and we do have a wrestling show
Mm-hmm.
tonight. We have AEW Dynamite that's coming to us tonight from St. Louis, Missouri, from the Chaifetz. I think that's how Chaifetz Arena. I guess we'll figure out how to pronounce it when they mention the name of the arena in the opening. I have no idea how to pronounce the name of this arena. My apologies to the people of St. Louis. Anyway, we do have 6 matches and 1 segment announced on tonight's show. And opening it all, well, the opening thing we will look at is the Acclaimed and the Jericho Appreciation Society 2.0 is going to be going out for a night on the town on Chris Jericho's money.
This is gonna be funny. I'm very curious what they're gonna be doing because they claim are such dorks. Not the claim, sorry. The 2.0, they're such dorks, but they're so good. Like they're so funny. They claim kind of they're boring a little, like they're getting very boring actually. So I'm hoping this kind of helps him out a bit as well, because you could tell this is Chris Jericho in the background pulling some strings, kind of being like, let's get this together. Let's get them into a feud with maybe the JAS, right? Maybe it'll help. So yeah, I mean, I'm expecting a segment that it's probably gonna be funny. Maybe set up some matches, like maybe it's gonna be 2.0 versus the Acclaim. Like get the Acclaimed away from the tag team championships now for now, right? They don't need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So get them into segments like that are fun, and get them facing people who are good, right? So like 2.0, they're really good. So yeah, I'm very curious and hope I'm very hopeful, I should say, that this pushes this storyline further and we get some just good stories that are coming out of this.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I agree with you. It's like anyone who's listened to me enough now knows I'm not the most gigantic fan of the Acclaimed on the face of the
Mhm.
planet. But I really like Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. So let's see what happens. Like this could actually be really funny.
Yeah.
It could also be a colossal dud, depending on what happens. But I'm going to go out. I'm going to be positive. We've had enough negativity this week. I'm going to find a
Mhm.
positive spin on every single event and match tonight. This will be a shower of wrestling positivity. Will I be able to pull it off? We shall see. Anyway, yeah. So this is going to be funny. That's all I'm going to say.
I
This
agree.
will be funny. So yes. Next up, we have Adam Cole in his return bout, taking on the Jericho Appreciation Society's Daniel Garcia.
I mean, I expect a good match. Daniel Garcia is fantastic. Adam Cole is good, but there might be ring rust there, right? He's been away for a long time. So I'm gonna slot this. I know there's 6 matches, and every match tonight's not bad. Like it's not bad to very good, right? So I'm very curious. Where am I gonna put this match? So I'm gonna say out of 6. Obviously I know what number 1 is. I'm gonna put this at number 3. I'm gonna slot this in the middle, right? Because I don't know where to put it in right now. So I'm gonna slot this in number 3 because I love Daniel Garcia. I think he's again fantastic, and I'm hoping Adam Cole comes out with a great showing tonight. So number 3.
Yep. And once again, you and I are agreeing. It is also my number 3 match.
Awesome.
But again, it's kind of like it was hard to figure out exactly where I wanted to slide this one in. I'm very much looking forward to the locker room veteran, the locker room leader, Daniel Garcia taking on Adam Cole.
That's true. Very true.
It is, his promo last week was something else. So no, this is going to be, I think, as long as Adam Cole is even at 75%, I think this is going to be a very good match. So I'm looking forward to it. Next up, we have Dalton Castle and the boys taking on the Blackpool Combat Club, Mox, Castagnoli, and Yuta.
Again, really tough to judge this match, right? Because I'm just like looking at the card, like I want to either put this in number 2 or then drop it to number 4, right? All these matches are so close together because I'm looking at this match and then I'm looking at the Cassidy match, which we'll talk about in a second. But and I'm very curious which one is going to be good. So I think I'm going to put this one as number 2 because I'm very hopeful this drives the story against the Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club. So I'm very hopeful it drives that story because you know that the boys in Dalton Castle are going to lose, but they're good. So I'm just very curious how it's going to drive it. So I'm going to put this at number 2.
Okay. I also have it at number 2. When was the last time we disagreed on the original placement of a match? It's been like 7 matches in a row now or something. But anyway, so yes, I've also put this one at number 2, but I think my reasoning's a little different. I just think any match involving the Blackpool Combat Club is going to be good. And Dalton Castle and the boys are good.
They're good.
So,
really
I mean, this is going to be a good wrestling match too, I think, right? You've got I love the Blackpool Combat Club so much. So yeah, I think this is going to be great. And yeah, you're right. I hadn't even thought about the let's build some elements part of this, but yeah, cool. So that could make this even better. And then next up, we have Matt Hardy versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry.
So again, another match where I'm like, it can go from anywhere from like 5 to like 2, right? These matches all can be interchanged. No, so I didn't say number 1, but all these matches can be interchanged. So I'm gonna just slot them in at because you know what? I'm going to slot this match in at number 5. I'm actually pushing it down to 5. I was gonna put it at 4. I'm gonna put it at 5. Just leave it there at 5. I think it's gonna be a good match. I love Jungle Boy. I think Matt Hardy's got that veteran presence that he's gonna have a great match too. But yeah, Jungle Boy is an awesome wrestler. Like he's so young. So this is gonna be a great match. Again, 4 or 5, but I'll just slot it in number 5.
I put it at 4. So we finally have a difference in these like couple matches where we're like, they're all pretty much identical. So yeah, no, the Jungle Boy, great wrestler Matt Hardy, still decent. I think that there's some potential here for some like funny shenanigans and that kind of stuff, right? Like a bit of comedy spots and things that I'm hopeful for. Jungle Boy's great in the ring, so
he's amazing.
Yeah, I mean it's I'm not quite sure why we're having this match. Do you know why we're having this match?
Maybe did something happen over the weekend or something?
I don't know. Is there a house show thing that happened that we were all supposed to know about? I don't know. I don't really. I'm not. I didn't watch the Road to video before this one, so I don't know why they're having the match. So, but hey, why not, right?
We'll see. Yeah.
Exactly. Which is also why I don't understand how the Butcher got a title shot for the AEW International Championship in a match with Orange Cassidy.
And this is the one I slotted in at number 4. And again, as interchange, it can go as high as 2 or whatever. But I love Orange Cassidy. I think he's so good at his gimmick, and him playing the kind of the funny role to the Butcher's serious like large role.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm curious how this one's gonna go. So I slotted it in at number 4, right? Yeah, number 4.
Yes.
Yeah, this is number 4 for me. So yeah,
Mhm.
so I think it's gonna be a good match. Again, can move up to at least number 2.
Right. And yeah, it could move up to 2. I'm a little skeptical it will. I mean, if this had been Orange Cassidy versus the Blade,
Maybe, yeah.
I think I would have probably thought, because I think the Blade, like the Butcher's good. He's a big guy and he's a good wrestler. So I
Mhm.
have no real criticism. Like I said, I'm going to find the positive in everything tonight. So this match has potential to elevate past the number 5 slot that I've put it in. But I'm a little concerned that it's just going to be kind of forgotten on a night where you've got a bunch of other big matches that are going on, and it might not get the time or the
Yeah.
story that it deserves. So we shall see. We also have Willow Nightingale taking on Ruby Soho in a battle
So
of, I don't know, the natives versus the
I
outcasts.
don't know. Like Will Nightingale's not even like a original, you know what I mean? Like
I
an
know, it's
AEW
like
original.
she's not
So,
homegrown, people.
so like I mean, this is gonna be my number 6 match of the night. Again, the this Mean Girls thing is getting kind of boring because they keep just stretching it out. Nothing's actually happening. It's the same thing every week, right?
Yes.
One of the Mean Girls faces, or the Outcasts, or whatever they call them, faces one of the homegrown. They fight. Then there's interference, and then people run away, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. Like I guess they're saving the Riho match maybe for the pay-per-view. I don't even know what they're doing, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
number 6 for me.
Isn't Riho facing Jamie Hayter next week for the title?
Oh, maybe. I don't
I
even
thought I
know.
heard that because they announced a bunch of matches for the following week too, because they're hoping to capitalize on the post WrestleMania crowd being interested in wrestling.
Oh,
So
okay, I see.
they've actually stacked a pretty decent card for next week's Dynamite already. And I could have
Oh, wow.
sworn
Yeah.
Riho versus Jamie Hayter was on that card because
That's gonna be a good match. Yeah.
that's a good match. This one, okay, I'm kind of like I don't care. I'm with you. It's like, what are they doing with this plot? They're getting like 2 minutes a week to develop it, and
Yeah.
it's not helping. Have you seen the new Outcast shirt in the AW store?
No.
Okay. Um, they use fluorescent green lettering on it
Hmm.
to put Outcasts on a black shirt with their pictures. And then underneath it, it has their names. And between each name is a fluorescent green X. I'm just waiting for the WWE cease and desist letter.
Uh-oh.
Oh, people. You know, green and black was done to death, right? Especially neon green and
I
black,
know.
people. Anyway, it's a terrible shirt. I would never wear it. So I will also slot this match at number 6 because I don't care. Like I really don't, and that's sad
Mhm.
because Ruby Soho's good, Willow Nightingale is good, but I don't have a reason right now to care about this match. You know what match I have a reason to care about? Kenny Omega taking on the United Empire's own Jeff Cobb, former amateur wrestler who went to the Olympics, by the way. Jeff Cobb for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship.
So it begins, right?
Yes.
It's we were talking about Omega and Osprey to potentially for Forbidden Door, and now it's starting. Now you can see what's happening. So Omega is now starting to defend his first defense. First or second defense, right? No,
First defense.
first defense since he won the belt in January.
Mm-hmm. That's what happens when you
First,
take it overseas, right?
I
You get to
know,
dodge all the challengers.
right? So first
But
defense.
look at FTR with those
I
IWGP
know
tag
it's
titles. They
true.
never defended them.
Yeah. So first defense, he's gonna win this match. It's gonna be amazing. I think I'm very curious which Kenny Omega are we getting tonight? Because remember last week, right? Kenny made Vikingo look like gold, right? So I'm wondering what happens here. Now Kenny's gonna win. I don't think that Jeff Cobb is gonna come in and just beat Kenny Omega. It's never gonna happen. So I'm very curious how he's gonna wrestle this match because Kenny can wrestle anything, right? And Cobb is good, right? So I'm very curious. Like, then what did they do? Did they set up another match for next week, right? Maybe another member of the United Empire, right? So,
Yep.
with the news that Matt Jackson is currently injured, like it kind of
Mm-hmm.
makes things a bit interesting because I think the whole plan was the Bucks and Hangman, and then Kenny goes on a singles run, which makes sense, right? So I'm very curious how this is gonna play out. A lot of things because as we talked about on Monday's podcast, the Being the Elite with Matt sending the video of him nodding to Hangman and supporting Hangman over the win, and he's like, I think you need to see this video, and then deleting it. So
Yep.
and then Bill, we get to find out today, did Kenny Omega watch the replay from last week?
The answer will be no.
No.
But this match, man, like I love Jeff Cobb. He's great. I mean, he's the kind of big guy I like watching because he can move. I don't know if he's not Brian Cage level movement, but he's quite good. And I think that a match with Kenny Omega, he's just going to look even better. I don't expect him to win, but I expect him to put on a hell of a performance. And I'm really interested what happens from here. I mean, is this what's going to build out of this? Where is this going? What's going to happen? I mean, the most intriguing plot in wrestling right now for me is the Elite, Hangman, Blackpool Combat Club being involved in the whole thing on the periphery, and now you've got the United Empire sniffing at the door, right? Like, no pun intended with the sniffing at the door, but you know what I mean. It's just amazing, right? And when the United Empire gets involved, and I start hearing IWGP this and IWGP that, of course I'm like, cool.
Well,
and then I start wanting to put crowns up, man. I start wanting to put crowns up.
Do what you need to do. But Kenny's the man. Kenny
will destroy Jeff Cobb.
And that's it, right? I'm very curious on how Kenny puts over like Cobb in terms of putting over, not letting him win, but like putting him over. Like, for example, my friend Sam, WB fan, like I'll be going over to his place this weekend. We're watching WrestleMania, right? With his kids. And he said, so two things. Obviously Zelda. Now he's a Zelda fan, so there was something came out with Zelda recently. And I showed the boys Omega versus Vikingo. He said, OMG, WWE wishes they could have a match of that caliber on their show.
I know, right?
Right? So like, listen, as you said, just enjoy wrestling. Who cares what company you like, fully support? Yep. You have to, like, listen, I'll admit when WWE has good matches. I'll admit, like, I did we not talk about the storyline for the Usos and Sami Zayn and stuff like that, because that was something that was good. I appreciate it when fans appreciate great wrestling like that. So I thought I would just read that out.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, I just want to make it clear, being in my super positive mood that I'm in tonight. Look, I don't dislike the WWE wrestlers or their matches or anything like that. Look, if the match is bad, it's bad. I'm going to dislike it. But I have chosen in my life to concentrate on wrestling that is not WWE because I just enjoy it more. That's my personal choice and personal preference. I am not going to knock people who want to go and watch WWE. There's a lot of fans who can't wait to watch WrestleMania this weekend, and it looks like it's got a half decent card. I'm not going to go into it because I kind of don't give a flying crap. If I were there, I would be going to that Tokyo Joshi Pro show they've got on. They've got English announcers for it now too. One of the first times they're having English commentary at a Tokyo Joshi Pro show. It's like that's like the Joey Janela Spring Break, right? With Kota Ibushi taking on Joey Janela. See, like that's why I'd want to go to WrestleMania weekend. Screw WrestleMania. I want to go to all the indie shows that are around it. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and that's it, right? There's so much wrestling that's going to be going on shortly, so I hope AEW actually is able to capitalize on some of this, right? And looking at the card today, the card looks really good. It looks like a really good card, right? So I'm very curious on how next week is going to stack up, because again, who's going to challenge Kenny Omega? Because the more Kenny Omega I get on my TV, the better life is. Right?
100%. 100%. I think we're totally hyped for a match tonight again because it's Kenny. My God, Omega. So, okay. Well, on that note, why don't we go watch said show, and we'll be back. But as I always say, it will seem like we never left. And that was Dynamite, that did take place from St. Louis, Missouri, from the I still don't know how to pronounce it, Chi-Fetz Arena, because they didn't actually say the name
Yeah,
of
they
the
didn't.
arena. We have Excalibur, Tony, and Taz on commentary, and we start off with Jungle Boy Jack Perry's music hitting right off the top. And every time they announce Jack Perry's hometown, I keep thinking they say Value Village, not Valley Village. And for those of you who are not local to Toronto, Value Village is a chain of thrift stores that we have here in Toronto. So I keep
Yeah,
thinking he's from Value Village. Okay.
Goodwill.
Anyway, Ethan Page, by the way, does the Jeff Hardy dance, of course, and he is awesome for that reason.
So
Um,
funny.
Yep. Matt Hardy and Jungle Boy shake to start off, but then dueling chants happen. Some people are cheering for Jungle Boy. Some people are cheering for Matt Hardy. There's delete chants too.
Mhm.
They go back and forth for a bit with some Matt wrestling, not Matt Hardy
With
wrestling,
match
Matt
wrestling.
wrestling, until Jungle Boy drop kicked Matt out of the ring. Perry goes for a tope suicida, but Matt sidesteps and nails the side effect on the floor. Then, with the ref distracted, Page sends Perry over the barricade. We see Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara now watching from the back, not together. Darby is in like the hinterlands of the back somewhere watching on an equipment trunk because dressing rooms are too good for Darby Allin. Well, Sammy is making out with Ty Mello and not paying attention to the monitor at all. Jungle Boy comes back then at that point, getting Hardy on the apron where they fight back and forth until Hardy hits a side effect again, this time on the apron, sending Jungle Boy back to the floor where Hardy starts to work him over around ringside. He hits the delete turnbuckles to the head on Perry and then a corner power bomb for two. We get a very loud Ethan sucks chant at this point. Hardy continues to work Perry over until Jungle Boy hits a lariat, then a drop kick. He climbs to the top, but Page distracts him, allowing Hardy to hit a superplex for two. Page gets on the apron to protest. Apparently the two should have been a three. But then Hook's music hits. Hook and Page go at it. Hardy tries to stop them, but Page nails Hardy. Perry then hits him with a tope suicida, tosses him in the ring, but on a jump off the top, Hardy actually counters and goes for the side effect. Or maybe the twist of fate at that point. My apologies. Perry then reverses into a backslide, but Hardy escapes, and then Jungle Boy hits a thrust kick, flatliner, and an elbow to the back of the head, which looks suspiciously like a lesser version of the Hidden Blade, for three. What did you think, Krishna?
It was good match. It was a good match. We know, like, I like the fact they're building up this feud with MJF, and we'll talk about that after. But like, it was a good match. Solid match by Hardy and Jungle Boy. I did like the minimal interference because really Page really didn't do much. Can we talk about the fact that something happens in this match, and I don't know if I've ever seen this happen, where during the match someone came to save somebody else, but they played that person's music in full entrance for them to come out and save said person, to then totally distract everyone. I was distracted from the total match altogether. I was like, why are they playing Hook's music and his entrance?
Well, because they're trying the WWE tactic. Hook was like, "Hey man, I've seen this work in other places. Hit the music, and maybe that will distract
But
Matt Hardy."
that stuff normally, like, we see that happening like after the match and stuff like that. But it normally is during the match is when something like someone comes out, or like if the music hits, normally it's just to distract. They don't do anything. So I really thought it was really weird. I'm like, you're really trying to push, like, to make Hook a thing. I get it. I don't know if this is the exact way to do that, but hey, whatever. He came up for the save. He fought Page to the back room, which was good. I like a trend that's going to be like I'm seeing a lot, and then that happens at AEW is the young guys getting put over by the vets helping the young guys out here. I guess because we'll end the show with that, because yeah, Matt Hardy did a great job. Jungle Boy looked like a star, as but Jungle Boy's awesome. I mean, there's really not much I can say. And yeah, this match was great. I'm gonna say this, like, the matches like 3, 4, and 5, like they're like interchangeable for me. So I'm gonna put this at number 3. Because I have obviously two matches that I thought were, great matches. So I'm gonna put this one at number 3. But again, I think it could be interchanged. So yeah, I like this match. I really did.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I mean, I'm solid stuff from both guys. Like I know Jungle Boy can do more, and I mean Matt Hardy's especially. I mean, the guy's 48, right? So I mean, he's
Yeah.
definitely good for his age. I enjoyed the match. Didn't
Mhm.
hate it. I did the hook music thing. It didn't dawn on me,
Oh, it didn't
right? Like
dawn on
his
you, eh?
music,
When
it
I was like,
didn't
what?
even dawn on me. I was just like, oh, it's Hook. He's coming out to save him. Like,
Mhm.
okay. But you're right. I mean, like when the best friends came out later, and we'll get to that later, of course,
Mhm.
there was no music. They just ran
Yeah.
down to help Orange Cassidy, right?
Thank you.
So
Thank
yes,
you.
yes,
Yes.
exactly. So yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I didn't
Mhm.
think much of it at the time.
Mhm.
So I was just like, okay, he's coming out with his music. Okay, maybe some guys just have to have their music.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I put this one in the number 4 slot.
Four spot. Okay.
Yes.
Fair
So
enough.
yeah, but you're right. There's an awful lot that are just kind of clumped around, like good, solid wrestling matches. I give
Yeah.
this one like about 3.5, three and a
Yeah.
quarter,
It's okay.
somewhere in that
It's good.
neighborhood. Yeah. MJF's music then hits after the match, and MJF comes out and he gets a mic, of course, and he says, I'm good. He's talking to Jungle Boy. He goes, I'm going to keep it real with you. I didn't appreciate it when you interrupted my rebar mitzvah. It was kind of a Kanye move. But one thing you said stuck to my craw. After our match at Double or Nothing 2020, our career paths diverged. You had the audacity to say I had it easy and waltzed my way to the top of the card. But you're right. My job's a joke. I barely wrestle or break a sweat. I obliterate the crowd. I collect a check and take my Learjet back to Long Island, which he said is like the most magical place on earth because he's never been to Tahiti. Your career has been mid. You worked your ass off, though having many standout matches. But these people never thanked you, and you weren't rewarded much TV time either. You have the right to be pissed, but not at me, not at the company. You should be pissed at yourself. Allow me to explain. After our match at Double or Nothing 2020, I walked to the back and I felt like I met my equal inside this ring, the man I should be waging war with for the rest of my life, a man I respected. I found you in the back and shook your hand. Do you remember what I said? Finally, Jungle Boy gets a mic and he goes, Let me see if I can remember. You said I had all the skills and potential in the world, but nice guys always finish last. If I ever wanted to be as big as you, I had to ditch all my friends and not care about anyone but myself. And MJF says, That is literally what I told you. And you went on to hang out with Jurassic Express and Christian. And how did that turn out? You could have listened to me. We could have run this place. This could have been the Jack Perry show, but you had to be the good guy for these people. Really? Where's that gotten you? 3 years later, I'm the best professional wrestler in the world and the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. You're still just Jungle Boy. And Jungle Boy says, If I'm being honest for a second, a long time ago, I thought maybe we were going to be friends. I wish in a lot of ways, I wish I was more like you. Wish I could talk, your confidence, that I didn't care about anyone, the lying, stabbing in the back, and not caring about being the most selfish, narcissistic piece of shit in the entire place. But that isn't me. And if my road is harder because of it, then so be it. And when I beat you and become champion, at least I won't wake up alone every day and hate the person I see in the mirror. MJF says, That was really good. And yes, MJF, it was. Everyone
Mhm.
give it up for Jungle Boy. It only took you 4 years to learn how to talk. There was one thing that was right. Just maybe we could have been friends, but not anymore because you're a massive disappointment. You're no different than the fans. You're weak in mind, weak in body, weak in soul. And I pulled aside Anna Jay, your girl, and she told me you're weak between the knees. Well, that was enough for Jungle Boy. Don't insult what's between his
And
knees,
Jay.
and he attacks him. They brawl. MJF bails before Jungle Boy can hit a back elbow, and that's the end of the segment. What'd you think of
Great,
this?
great segment by these two guys. Like I love how NChef is like, you're not hearing anything about bidding wars or anything. He's
Mm-hmm.
putting Jungle Boy over. He fully put Jungle Boy over, right?
Mm-hmm.
He calling out all of Jungle Boy's accomplishments, saying how he's wrestled, like making fun of himself in that just to put Jungle Boy over, which I did respect. I'm like, okay, I like this. This is what I like. You do this. Jungle Boy dropping some truth as well, like we always think about, where are AEW's baby faces? Well, here they are. Here are your baby faces. You have so many of them. Utilize them, right? No, it feels like everyone's a bad guy when you look at AEW sometimes, but no, like you have legitimate baby faces you can build on. Jungle Boy was great in the segment, absolutely great. There was no like, remember his promos where like he seemed shaky and
Mm-hmm.
nervous. None of that. None
No.
of that. Whatever's happened, Christian or whatever it was, has really helped this guy progress. I did laugh when MJF said hanging out with Marco stunted at growth. And
Yes.
I was like, what the
Marco
hell?
stunted at growth. Yeah, that was good.
And yeah, this was funny and emotional, and I love Sammy and Darby just watching from the back room because hey, they're carrying the storyline, and I
Yep.
appreciate that, right? So, I'm ready for what comes next with the all four of these guys.
Yep.
It does kind of seem like maybe they're gonna do a Jungle Boy, MGF like uh fight sooner than later, but I guess we'll
For
see, right?
now, it
For
looks
now,
that
yeah,
way.
yeah,
And until
right.
until
But
we get all of them having their
all of them.
matches and MJF confronts all of them, right? So
I,
yeah.
I mean, it would be smart. When's the next pay per view? April something? Revolution? Is it
Isn't it
April? Right?
May?
Is it May? Yeah, it's something May. So you have time to build for four way. You do
Yes.
have time to build for a four way now. So I think AEW, if you're smart, build to that four way. This is great. Your four pillars, like just let them go at it. This is really good. I really like this promo.
Yep. No, me too. I loved it. This is good heel MJF. I was totally fine with it. Continuing I am being Captain Positivity tonight. This was great. This was good stuff.
Agreed.
Jungle Boy. And did you see Jungle Boy handle those what chants?
Mm-hmm.
He
Mm-hmm.
was it was like he was a master on the mic, right? The minute he realized his cadence was letting them in there with those, he sped up how he was talking just enough that
Yep.
it cut
Just
off the
stop it.
thing. And then he got super passionate. By the time he was done, he had won them over completely and they were
Yep.
cheering. I mean, that is something he would probably never would have been able to do 2 years ago. Like that to me, I
Mm-hmm.
was watching like going, damn, dude, you've learned a lot. Like I was kind of like, oh, they're wetting him because we have to keep bringing back that same stupid ass chant that's like 27 years old. There goes my positivity out the window. But seriously, can we stop wutting people like anytime in
Yeah.
the near future? It is the dumbest thing in wrestling now. So, but there's my positivity. He handled it like a pro,
Yep.
absolute pro. And MJF, you're right, put him over huge and still got to
Big
tear him
time.
apart at the same time. It was masterful heel work. So good job to both these guys. Way to go. Enjoyed the segment a lot. And on we go.
Hmm.
We then get Alex Marvez, who was playing the Renee Paquette Tony Schiavone role all night. I don't know where Renee was tonight, but
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway, Alex Marvez was with Don Callis, and he says to Don, and Kenny's there too, right? And he goes, "Well, lots of drama from last week." And then Don Callis is like, "But Kenny, you know me. He's a big guy. I fell, right? Hangman didn't do anything, but why did you assume Hangman hit me?" And Kenny says, "Well, he's done it to you before."
Yeah. He punched you before.
You know, Callis says, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it. I'm going to find Hangman and apologize." Yep. Don Callis, master of manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
So, any comments on that before I move on?
Um. Yes. It was fun. Remember, I had said maybe Don Callis probably gonna say, "Oh, I tried to grab him and I fell."
Yeah.
Kenny questioned him, so it's kind of funny. He's like, "But Kenny, why did you think Hangman punched
Oh,
me?"
that was
Kind of
the
trying to,
best.
right? And he's like, "Cause he punched you before." That's literally he's punched you before.
Yep.
So I think it's really, I think it's funny. Yeah. This is good, and I was really interested to find out what's like when we get to the next segment. I was kind of shocked what happened, and we will get to that. But yeah,
Yes, we
this is
will.
good.
Yep. But first, Matt Menard and Angela Parker and the acclaimed and a surprise appearance by Mr. Jake Hager have to go
Mhm.
out on the town in St. Louis. And of course, they meet the St. Louis Blues mascot. They share some milkshakes. They ride a carousel. They have dinner. They appreciate each other. And then Angelo Parker asks them at dinner, "So, are you in or out?" And the acclaim says they will make a decision on, did they say Dynamite next week?
Dynamite, yeah,
Yeah,
Dynamite.
okay. That was the party on the
I,
town.
you know, after seeing all like the extended celebrations the elite, not the elite, the acclaimed always get, I was shocked at what this was. It was just literally like a commercial, right?
Yeah.
It was like, okay, well, sure, really, what was this supposed to do? And then at the end, they're like, they look at the bill and they're like, oh, right, for Jericho. So I was like, I didn't really see, like, I guess, yeah, they had fun, but great. I guess it was to promote St. Louis. Like, they had a great time in St. Louis. Um, I was like, okay, this wasn't doing it for me. I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I was I was not interested, and I just didn't care at the end of it.
Yeah, okay, I got to spin everything with a positive, right? That's tonight is Bill spins everything with a positive. So
Mhm.
I am going to say for this segment, it was blissfully short.
Yeah,
I
it
am
was very
grateful
short.
that it was as short as it was, given what we were given.
Mhm.
And Jake Hager made me laugh. So that was about it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
no,
true.
it was not the segment I expected it to be at
No,
all.
not at all.
So this was far less I mean, it was sports entertainment, but it was far less entertaining than I actually
Yeah.
expected it to be. So yeah, anyway. Then we move on to Dalton Castle and the Boys versus Blackpool Combat Club. Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta, a match that both of us said was going to be the second best match on the night. Well, the Blackpool Combat Club jumps Dalton Castle and the Boys before their entrance is like even half over. They beat the living crap out
Yeah.
of them around the ring. The bell rings. Claudio uppercuts Tate, one of the boys, throws him
Mhm.
out of the corner. Yuta and Mox keep destroying the other guys around the ring. Claudio power bombs Tate for the three. Squash City. Match was under a minute, and then they leave through the crowd. That was
And
it.
that's it. Like, I don't even know how to count this as a match, right? Because it was just a beatdown. Like, there was nothing. There was absolutely no match here,
Nope.
right? So it's so hard for me to even like put this as a match because I was like, does this automatically get number six just because it nothing like things happened, but the boys and Castle were just jumped, right? They were just jumped from behind, right? They didn't even have any shot in this match. I was like, this match was like a minute long. Like, does this
Yeah,
even
I
count as
think
something?
yeah, it was a little under a minute.
Yeah. Does it
Yeah.
even count as a match? Like, that's what I was so confused because I'm like,
Mhm.
technically speaking, everyone else had matches tonight. This wasn't really a match,
Well, I
right?
mean, look, you can have a match in 8 seconds.
You could
The bell rang, they
the
pinned
bell
the
did
guy,
ring.
the bell
Yeah.
rang. It's a match. So it was a match.
I don't know. For me, I think no, not this is not me putting it down anyway. I enjoyed this because I thought this was great. Like, this is what they need. They need. And unfortunately, the boys in Dalton Castle got crushed. I don't know why they just didn't crush like the wingman or something like that. That would have made more sense, right?
Well, I
But
mean, who are Dalton Castle and the boys to AEW television? They're Ring of Honor guys, right?
yeah, but Dalton
And
Castle
keep in mind,
and the boys.
Dalton Castle didn't get crushed here. He just got
No,
beaten
he
up
he was
outside the
outside. He
ring.
was outside by
Yeah.
Mox.
One of
Yeah,
the
he was outside Mox.
boys got
Yeah.
absolutely crushed.
And I get that. I get that. But for me, I think I'm still gonna put this at the number six spot because I do kind of feel like it needed to be if it was for a match, it was a little bit more. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it at six. But again, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it because it progresses things to come, right?
Yes.
So
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed this, right? I mean, like just so you know, I'm wearing my conflicted outfit. I've got my Kenny Omega sweater on, but I've got my Blackpool Combat Club
boards being
shirt
combat.
on. So yes, I'm wearing what we will call conflicted merchandise tonight. Yeah, I every time the Blackpool Combat Club comes out right now, I'm just becoming a bigger and bigger fan. They
Yeah,
absolutely destroyed
agreed.
these guys. I loved every second of it. I'm like, this is the way you take guys down and make a statement. It just made them look like powerhouses,
Hmm.
like just vicious. They don't give a damn. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like the whole thing's taken on Jon Moxley's persona, and I
Hmm.
love it. It is so cool. And but if I have to rate the match, comparing it to the other matches on the
Yeah.
night, right? And that's what I mean. If I'm just looking at the match,
Hmm.
number six.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
because
it, right?
it's I mean nothing happened. He did three
Yeah.
moves and pinned the guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the
It's
story of the surrounding stuff is great. What it
yeah.
does for the Blackpool Combat Club, great. Match wise,
Yeah. It's equivalent of someone just jumping in the ring, just getting knocked out and then pinned
yes,
in three
exactly.
seconds. And they're like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
sure. Right?
Exactly. Well, they go on now to recap right after that the attack on the Bucks last week, and then
Hmm.
Kenny's match with the Kingo and Hangman coming to help them out. They then recap Kenny challenging Jeff Cobb at New Year's Dash,
Mhm.
which I had completely forgotten about till
Yeah.
they showed this video. I'm like, oh yeah, he did that, right? And then they show Cobb calling him out for dodging him, which of course was far more recent. And then we go backstage again with Alex Marvez, which might be Renee Paquette in disguise, with
Yeah.
Hangman Adam Page. And Alex Marvez says to Page, "So how are the Bucks?" And Page goes, "They've been better. They're home this week." He mentions, he's got the torn bicep, and what did he say? Nick's got something about
Uh,
his shoulder, I
Something
think.
with his shoulder, some
Yeah,
shoulder injury. Yeah.
yeah. And Marvez said, "So who do you think did this?" And Paige goes, "Are you
Are
serious?
you
It's the
serious?
Blackpool guys." So then Don Callis shows up and he says, "Hey man, I'm very embarrassed. I lost my balance when you were holding onto your arm. I don't want to get between you and Kenny. You're a great talent. I just want to apologize to you." And Heyman goes, "Are you for real?"
Yeah.
He goes, I am. And right at that moment, they look like they might shake. And the Blackpool Combat Club shows up and wipes them out, starting with Hangman. And Callis is in there like, okay, what's going on? And then they wipe Callis out too. And when they pan the camera back, Callis is bleeding like Jon
Hmm.
Moxley.
Yeah. So like when they jumped Hangman, I like this promo, right?
Mm-hmm.
They jump Hangman, beat him down, and then you see Cal's kind of saying, "Thanks, guys," or he's about to shake Moxley's hand,
Yeah.
and this is what shocked me. Moxley just clocks him in the
Yeah, I
head,
know. Right?
knocks him down. I was like, "What the hell?" Now,
Yeah.
some concern for Don Callis, like that was a lot of blood in the ground.
Yes.
I don't know if he did bladed himself wrong or if he actually hit one of the things that was beside him because it looked like he maybe hit him in his head, right? Because when he looked, you see him touch his head like this, and the blood on the ground. I was like, oh my god, maybe he did actually get hit. Like, well, not the hit from Mox, but the way where he actually collapsed, he probably hit something, and I was like, interesting. This is because this to me seems like a diversion. This to me seems like, as you said earlier, Don Callis, right? This,
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I feel like there's something else going on here. And I don't know. I kind of feel Don Callis is playing like is maybe with the Blackpool Combat Club, or I don't
No,
know
he's
because
not.
you
He's
don't think so?
not. No, not even remotely. No, 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 no. This
After
was
that
this
that
was
hit.
Don Callis. This was Don Callis being Don Callis. This
Hmm.
was just him going, "Oh, okay, these guys beat up Hangman, and I don't like Hangman anyway. So the enemy of my enemy is my oh shit, they hate me too."
They knocked me
Crash.
down.
Right. I mean, the Blackpool Combat Club is not allying with the Don Callis.
No,
Okay, let's
no.
get that straight for a second. This is not their style. Their style is we kill people.
Yeah.
We don't care who gets in the way. We've decided we don't want these guys. We are killing them. So they did. They killed Hangman and then they killed Don
Kill
Callis.
Don Callis. This going through everybody.
Yep. So yeah,
Bulldozing
no,
through
I don't
everyone.
think there's anything fishy up here. I don't think there's any intrigue here. This is just
Mhm.
straight up, from my point of view. You could be right,
Hmm.
but I'm taking the other track. I'm saying this is just straight up. Callis was in the wrong place at the wrong time and got his ass handed to him.
Yeah, and I guess it might make more sense once we get to the end. So I mean, like, when we get there,
Possibly,
we'll talk.
possibly, because then we get Kenny Omega versus
Mhm.
Jeff Cobb for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship, which we both ranked as our potential match of the night. Well, Tony is with Kenny in the back after Jeff Cobb comes out, and Tony says, the Blackpool Combat Club attacked on Callis and Hangman, and Kenny's looking distressed because I gotta focus, I got a match, and Kenny's ribs are also taped up. So
Mhm.
Kenny start getting okay. Wait a second, what was that theme music? Because I didn't recognize that as Sephiroth's theme.
No, it wasn't. I have no idea what he came out to because at first I thought, okay, all right, he's gonna come out to the what's the song called again?
Battle Cry.
Battle Cry. Yeah. And then it didn't start. And then that music started, and I'm like, this is not the Sephiroth music from Final Fantasy. I have no idea what that music was.
Yeah, and I'm
I
trying to
thought
think. Did he
you were
ever
gonna know.
use that in New Japan?
Maybe, I guess. I don't
I'm
know.
I'm I'm gonna guess that might be where it's from. Maybe they just came out with a new one because the whole jumbotron and stuff was different too.
It's different. And they
So
didn't, and Excalibur didn't say anything about it. So that was what was like a little confusing. Normally he'll say, "Oh, look, it's like this is what he's coming
mhm,
out to," blah, 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 but nothing. I didn't even know what
yeah,
the heck that was.
yeah, it wasn't his cleaner stuff either. So I, I
No.
I have no idea. Anyway, he came out to differenter music. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
So So Kenny's ribs are taped. Kenny starts off though having trouble taking Cobb down, but he finally gets him with a head scissors, sending him out of the ring, followed by the Terminator dive. But on the dive, he holds his ribs, and that is a good chunk of the story of this match. Omega's ribs are bothering the hell out of him after that match with Vikingo last week. So Omega then hits the Guitarro Crusher though, goes for a body slam, but Cobb's is too heavy. He drops on him, then hits a running brain buster, like a fast running brain buster, and starts to work over Kenny's ribs. They go outside the ring, brawl a bit until Cobb puts Kenny back first into a ring post, works him over outside the ring, whipping him really hard into the barricade. He rolls Kenny back in the ring, steps on him, chokes him on the rope, keeps working on the ribs. Kenny punches Cobb repeatedly, trying to come back, but Cobb just drops him with a cross chop. Kenny hits Cobb some more, chops him, but it has little effect. Cobb locks in a bear hug until Omega fights out, hits a reverse bulldog for 2. Kenny tries to lift him, but the ribs give out, and Cobb nails the athletic plex. He goes for a German on Omega, but Kenny lands on his feet. Omega goes for a backslide, hits a V trigger for 2. Omega goes for another V trigger, but Cobb hits a drop kick, and that match is picking up pace now. Kenny counters the next move, though, hits 2 Snapdragon suplexes on Jeff Cobb. Cobb eats a third, or counters a third, but eats a V trigger, and that allows Kenny to hit the third Snapdragon. But Cobb pops right back up, nails a huge lariat. Both go down. They finally get to their feet, fight back and forth until Cobb targets the ribs again. He puts Omega on the turnbuckle and nails a delayed vertical superplex. Cobb's cover is slow, though, and Kenny kicks out. Cobb nails a standing moonsault for 2 at this point. Then he hits a V trigger of his own and sets Kenny up for the one-winged angel, but Kenny counters, trying one of his own, but can't get Cobb up. Cobb goes for the Tour of the Islands, but Kenny counters with 2 V triggers. He props Cobb on the ropes, uses that to help him get Cobb up on his shoulders, and he nails the one-winged angel for the 3 count. What did you think?
I love this match. I think it's an interesting story. Kenny's Kenny, right? You're right. Jeff Cobb showing off his power. Like he's not Brian Cage, but he's very, very good. Holy cow. Like some of the moves he does as a big guy, you're like, holy crap, like how do you do that moonsault thing, right? I really, really, really like this match. I thought it was great. But I after after last week's Vikingo match and stuff like that, I'm like, man, we're so spoiled with Kenny Omega matches. Like, what the hell, right? So I'm actually gonna put this match in spot number 2 for the tonight. And yeah, I think this was an awesome match. Yeah, these 2 guys, like, oh, obviously Kenny Omega, but at the end, I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put this at number 2 spot for today.
I've been looking at Krishna like he's crazy for the last 30 seconds, but that's okay. Number 2, interesting. No, my match of the night, easily. Like there isn't even a close contest on this card for match of the night to me, right? That's why I'm kind of surprised. I'm like, yeah, because everything else was good. This was great. I mean, the story in it was great, right? It made sense. Kenny comes in a bit distracted. His ribs are still hurting. Cobb just goes straight for them, right? Big guy, hard to take down. Good story. It was a really good, like they did a very New Japan style match too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
And well, I love those matches.
So I know.
So yeah, I mean, for me, I was watching this go, oh man, this is great. So, and I mean, Cobb, he just moves so well for a guy his size. That drop kick was picture perfect, right? For a guy his size, that running brainbuster was insane, right? Cool. I mean, his finish. He never got to show you the Tour of the Islands, but he never took you on the tour, right?
He never took you on the tour.
But he did hit the athletic flex, which is just a crazy move, right? And I mean, he's just such a good wrestler. I mean, he's not going to win any awards of the year for being a luchador or anything like that. No, but I mean, this was Kenny, this is the thing I love about Kenny Omega. He can wrestle anybody and knows how to do it perfectly. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter who his opponent is, he's going to shine in the ring, and his opponent is going to shine right along with him. And that's exactly what he did in this match. Is this match as good as the Vikingo match? Hell's no.
Yeah. It's different. Right? It's different.
One, it's a different kind of match. 2, that is your like that's going to be like the TV match of the year kind of thing, right? Like it's going to be really hard for any TV match to beat that match for the whole year, right? You get a match of the year, And it was kind of like when I was watching Hazuki take on Saya Kamatani, because I cannot go through an entire episode of anything without mentioning Stardom. And then you followed it up with Azumi and Starlight Kid.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, Azumi and Starlight Kid was a phenomenal match, but I had to kind of go, okay, this is not Saya Kamatani and Hazuki. Okay. But it was a wonderful match. And that's how I had to look at this too. This match was really, really good. I would give this match probably 4.25. You know,
Okay.
4.25, maybe 4.5 if I was feeling generous, but I loved this match. So yeah, and a great showing by the United Empire. So you know,
Very
one of
good
my
showing by
boys.
Cobb.
Yep. So no, I was quite pleased with this match. So yay. But then the Blackpool Combat Club shows up and they surround the ring. And it looks like they're going to be beating down Kenny Omega because Jeff Cobb is long gone. And then Bryan Danielson's music hits, who, you know, I was like, oh yeah, Bryan Danielson. And he shows up and he comes through and he's looking at the guys. He's telling them all, get off the apron. What are you doing? Right. He tells them all to get off the apron. He then offers his hand to Kenny. And then Kenny accepts it. He helps Kenny up. And then Yuta gets up on the apron and Kenny runs over to confront Yuta. And as he turns around, he eats a Busaiku knee, and Bryan Danielson locks on the label lock while the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club takes down Brandon Cutler and Michael Nakazawa and some other random grunts. Danielson knocks Kenny out with the move, like he passes out in the hold. Mox asks the cameraman if anyone has anything to say, and then replies, no, they don't. Danielson, though, interestingly yells at Omega, you are everything that is wrong. With wrestling.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was your segment. It ends with the Blackpool Combat Club, all 4 of them standing strong together in the ring. And Bryan Danielson has turned heel with the rest of them.
This is great if you think about it, right? This is great booking. There are 4 members of the Blackpool Combat Club. There are 3 members of the Elites, and there's 1 Hangman Adam Page, right? Like storylines for all these guys, right? You know, the minute Danielson came out, I was like, I know what's gonna happen here. There's no way Danielson's coming out as a good guy, right? And I love bad Danielson. So I'm like, yeah, are they gonna give us another Iron Man match with Kenny and Danielson?
No, they won't do another Iron Man match so soon to the last one.
No. So they counted the 30-minute one like an Iron Man match, right?
No, I meant the one with MJF and Danielson. They're not going to do another big Iron Man match that close to that one.
They'll shadow, because it'll overshadow it. Not according to Dave Meltzer, but
yes, it will.
But like, yeah, I'm excited for these matches. Like any of these matches, like, yeah, Kenny versus these guys, Hangman versus these, because now it's like Hangman and Mox have issues, Kenny and Danielson have issues, right? And then the Bucks and the other two, right?
Hangman and Kenny have issues. Hangman and the Bucks have issues.
But I think this is what repairs it. You know what I mean? But
maybe
the one problem is, again, they have to get over what happened when Kenny lost that belt, right? And I don't know if they're gonna get over that issue there. So I like this. I like the bad, like, Blackpool Combat Club just running roughshod through the entire AEW roster, beating everybody up. This is an exciting turn of events. Odd that, you know, they're like, yeah, we'll get to it. But like, I mean, this, like, I like this. I really like this. And hey, I'm glad Danielson's back.
Oh yeah, I love that. After watching that match and then I get this segment, I'm like, my God, what an awesome time. And you know what? I think the problem was it took some wind out of my sails because it was so good. It was so good that after this, I'm kind of like, well, wasn't that the main event? Isn't the show over? I mean, because that was pretty much my main event.
It should have been the main event. I don't know why they.
I do know why they did. I know 100% why they did it. But
I know why.
But anyway, back to this. No, I absolutely loved this segment. It is such smart booking. You know, we've been talking like for a few months before this, you know, the booking in AEW. Well, you know what? Recently, it's been improving big time.
Yeah.
This is so smart because it fits the whole program if you think about it. So you said something off the top that made a whole lot of sense. Oh, look, AEW doesn't seem to have a lot of faces. So they bring out Jungle Boy. And
Mm-hmm.
boy, does he cut a great face promo with like
Mm-hmm.
a master on the mic like MJF, right? Wonderful. And you're thinking to yourself, like Bryan Danielson, when he went into that match with MJF, right? Like prime face, like
Yeah.
just passion, fire, blah, blah. But he gets beaten by a dude that hits him in the head with a fire extinguisher. Okay. And then taken down and submitted in his own
Own move. Yep.
hold. And then he went home to reflect. And when he comes back, he lays out Kenny Omega with a Busaiku knee, and he helps out the Blackpool Combat Club, who are now vicious. Clearly, a heel turn that makes a whole lot of sense because he's probably thought to himself, and I'm sure he'll explain himself after what happened to me in that Iron Man match. Why the hell should I bother with that crap? All right, so we're just gonna take this place over. Great, love it. And then look at the book ending you get on the other end of this show now. All right, like it's just
Mm-hmm.
there's two extremely strong and then Kenny Omega in the middle of it. Because I mean, by doing this to Kenny Omega with the Blackpool Combat Club, you're saying there's our big face.
Yep.
Right. So
Yep.
you've got the whole show, beginning, middle, end. You've set up three big faces. Right. And
Yep.
drawn some clear lines around them. You know who their enemies are. Right. You know what they're all going for. You know why they're going for it,
Yep.
right? I love it. It is really good. And Kenny is just
Smart booking.
embroiled in this whole bunch of drama
Mm-hmm.
with it too. It is just, this was a really well booked show from that perspective. I just looked at it and go, God, they're doing this like triple face thing here, and it is
Mm-hmm.
brilliant. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, see, it's a great night to be positive. Look what's coming out, right? So anyway, I'm going to stop gushing about this segment now and move on to the next. So we get a recap of FTR and the Guns, and then we get the Guns backstage, and they basically say, we got the titles a lot faster than you. You went home and bitched. You were our heroes. Then we met you, and now we hate you. We respected one person our whole life, our father, and you saw what we did to him. Your catchphrase now makes sense. Next week, top guys out.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, whatever. I'm like, these guys have had one title defense or something like that, right? So like,
Mm.
who cares? Yeah, FTR, can you just beat them for the belt and we can take this tag team division seriously again? Because yeah, I'm done. I'm over it. Let's move on.
Yes, I completely agree with you. You have summed up all of my thoughts. The one thing I will say is from a positive note, because I'm trying to find somebody. This might be the last Guns promo we see.
And it definitely won't. Unfortunately.
Oh, well, then we get Orange Cassidy versus the Butcher for the AEW International Championship. I rated this number 5. You rated it number 4 before we started the show tonight.
Oh.
Blade hits Cassidy from behind, though, before the match, and he has a crowbar. The ref, though, kicks Blade out, but the Butcher is beating him down in the meantime. Not the ref. Butcher's beating down Cassidy in the meantime. Cassidy looks pissed, though. I mean, when they finally get the match started, he immediately goes for the orange punch. The Butcher moves. Cassidy goes for the beach break, but he can't lift him. Cassidy goes for the soft kicks, and the Butcher nails him. Although Cassidy comes back briefly, the Butcher catches him on a crossbody, slams him down. Cassidy rolls out of the ring, but the Butcher smashes Cassidy repeatedly into the barricade. He works him over for quite a while, focusing on his backbreakers, side slam. He gets a cloverleaf locked on Cassidy, but Cassidy manages to fight out in a really interesting way. Kind of pulls himself through the legs, pulls himself up, rakes his eyes. Cassidy then finally hits the Stun Dog Millionaire and then counters a pile driver attempt into a DDT. Then he hits a diving DDT for a 2 count. The ref gets distracted by the Butcher again, and the Blade returns, nailing Cassidy with the crowbar in the back. And for a minute, I thought, are they going to flip the title? The Butcher then slams Cassidy down, but only gets a 2 count. The best friends then show up, take care of Blade, while Cassidy hits Butcher with a beach break and pins him for the 3.
And they didn't play the best friends music. So how did I know that they were coming out? Look, wow. Imagine that.
I know, it was a shock.
Yeah, this match again, it fell into my number 4 spot, which is great. That's fine. I mean, I thought the match was good. I didn't understand the Blade comes back out. Like I get it, they're tag teams, but I really thought when he got kicked out, it'd be kicked out permanently, and then they'd have the match. But yeah, it's okay. You know, Orange Cassidy has had better matches. The Butcher is good. Like I do like the Butcher. He's good. Um, just that yeah, I just his outfit's really weird. I don't know why he wears that to the ring. I'm like he kind of looks like Iron Sheik sometimes when he comes out. He comes out in very odd outfits, I've realized recently. But whatever. Hey, Butch, you do you. But yeah, no, number 4 for me. Like I thought this match was good.
Yeah, yeah, it went to my number 5.
Okay.
It was good. I mean, it was, I'm gonna give him
Yeah.
3 stars for effort. It
Yeah.
was it was fine. Um, I which was fine. Orange Cassidy was fine. Little too much interference for my taste
Yeah,
in it.
that's my problem.
And
Yeah.
and interference that didn't pay off too, like it's
Yeah.
interference that Cassidy just used as a way to it kicked out from a crowbar shot, like it's
I know.
okay, that's fine. I mean, he's very tough, this Mr. Cassidy. Um, so yeah, that's fine. I mean, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it.
Hate it.
It was just okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So if I had to give a positive, it's that Orange Cassidy still has the belt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yay. We then get a Jade Cargill video about Taya Valkyrie. Taya apparently ignored the cease and desist and used the Jaded on Mark Sterling. They threaten to sue her if she uses the move again. And then Jade is the goddess because she's that bitch. So is she trying to say then that divine females must therefore also be bitches? I'm a little bit confused. So in order to be a goddess, you have to be that bitch.
I don't know. I have no idea what she was saying.
I'm
Like
confused.
yeah, I mean like I I saw this and I'm like, guys, do we really have to keep doing these same storylines over and over again? The cease and desist letters. Like how many times AEW like contracts of people are going to then get sent over to somebody else? What's it called? Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, like they've been owned by basically everyone, right? And now this again. And I'm like, whatever. Um yeah, now they're fighting over the finishing move, and if you can't use this move, and who cares? Like, do you remember when MJF had banned Moxley from using his finisher, and then he
Yes.
used it, and he still be, yeah, I don't. These things are stupid. Like, that it doesn't
Yeah.
matter, right?
Yeah, remember when the jackknife power bomb was outlawed in
Yes,
WCW and Kevin Nash couldn't use it, and then they
yes.
outlawed Goldberg's or something slightly like I don't know. Anyway, there was a lot of that crap in WCW. Here's my positive take on it. You ready for my positive spin on the Jade Cargill segment?
Yeah,
Okay. It made me grateful for the rest of the booking on the show. It made me realize how good the booking on the rest of the show was by how terrible the booking was here.
yep,
Yep.
agreed.
See, yeah. I mean, it just you got to have these bad segments so that you really because without a blizzard, you don't realize how much you love the summer sun, right?
That's true.
So without a Jade Cargill segment, I won't appreciate the Blackpool Combat Club and the Elite and that's as much as I might have otherwise. Um, we then get a Juice Robinson promo video. He's having a match this Friday against Action Andretti, and he says every punch he delivers will be for Ricky Starks. And he tells Starks, sit down and watch what's going to be a preview of you that will happen in New York City, which of course they're on Long Island. So I'm sure the people of New York City were real happy to hear him
Yeah,
refer to Long Island as New York City, but perhaps he did that on purpose.
maybe. And I like Juice. I think the match with him and Andretti is gonna be really good. I just don't care for the storyline. I just really
Mm-hmm.
don't. So I was like, whatever.
Right. And then we get Willow Nightingale taking on Ruby Soho. We both said this would be our number 6 match of the night.
Hmm.
We have both already given number 6 to a different match.
Yeah.
So this one clearly went up. The Outcasts now have their own music and entrance video now. Ruby
Yes.
bails to start the match, delaying, but back in the ring, Willow counters Ruby, hits a side slam and a running splash for 2. She body slams Ruby 3 times. Ruby is so lucky that wasn't Psycho Mike, and beats on her in the corner. But Ruby lures her into the ropes, faking friendship, and Willow buys it. And this distracts the ref while Saraya drills Willow with her knees. Ruby hits a snap suplex and rubs her forearm in Willow's face, chokes her on the ropes, but hugging her and saying, "We're best friends." That was very Oedo Tai of her. She continues to work Willow over in the ring. She allows Willow to hit her, and they exchange strikes, though, until Ruby counters her into a pin for 2 and takes her down with a rear naked choke. Ruby distracts the ref again, but Willow drops Saraya this time when Saraya tries the same interference tactic again. Willow hits a hip attack on Ruby in the corner, her version, not the one that Tony Storm uses, and then a spine buster for 2. Ruby tries to lure her in again, but this time it doesn't work. Willow nails her with a Death Valley driver for a near fall. She goes to the second rope, but Storm shakes the rope. Ruby hits 2 no futures, but Willow kicks out. Ruby goes for the destination unknown, but Willow counters and hits the pounce. She goes for the Doctor Bomb, but Storm interferes, and Ruby pins Willow with her feet on the ropes. What'd you think of the match?
I mean, I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good match. Ruby and Willow, they're good. They're good, right? I mean, again, I get why we have to have the interferences. I get it. But yeah, I just, I really want more from this entire Mean Girl. Remember I said at the beginning, I want more from the Mean Girls storyline, and I feel like I'm getting the same thing. I feel like it's Groundhog Day. I'm getting the same thing every single week, right? It's almost like Vince McMahon's been booking this. So like, I just want them to progress. Like, hey, I want a Riho led, like, I don't know, faction or whatever, Riho to team up with Britt and whomever, and start having some of those matches. Like if you look at it, there's just been beaten up on it. And I guess they had said we're gonna get rid of the rookies, right? Yeah, Sky Blue and now why am I forgetting her name now? Willow. I was like, sure, okay. Who are you gonna beat up on next? Like Marina Shafir? Like I don't know, I'm so confused.
Marina Shafir.
Right?
I feel like that would be a bad idea.
That would be a terrible idea because it wouldn't make any sense, right? But yeah. I mean, again, I didn't hate this match or anything like that. I just want everyone to know that. I thought these two did well because they're good wrestlers. I just wanted more, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I look at it like this. If I look at the Blackpool Combat Club match, right, and I rate it based on the match mostly, right? And the fact was it was like an under a minute long squash match. Okay. Well, if I look what happened between bell to bell in this one, right? I really enjoyed this match a lot. I thought Willow put on a really good show. I thought Ruby put on a really good show. I thought these two worked really hard. I mean, there was some really impressive moves out of Willow in this. She really threw Ruby around. It was hard hitting. There was lots of good stuff. I mean, Ruby's mocking of her, the taunting, the mannerisms, right? I mean, the whole sort of story of but we were friends, right? And she manages to lure in once, but fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. So she didn't fall for it the second time. I thought that was good. The distractions made sense. And the fact is Willow caught on and managed to beat the crap out of Saraya on the second one. So I liked that. So I mean, it was numbers overcoming, and it made sense within the context of it. So yeah, I really like this match. I actually made this my number 3 match of the night. So yeah, no, I enjoyed this. I agree with you that I would like to see more stuff happen. Right? I mean, they attack Willow after the match, right? Ruby gets a chair, wraps it around Willow's ankle, but then Riho and Sky run in, but they get leveled, and the 3 of them get Riho down. And then Hayter shows up, and she takes out all 3 of them and offers a hand to Riho, who accepts. And then Hayter runs back after the Outcasts.
Yeah. So, and that's it, right? I'm kind of like, okay, so again, the saves and they're fighting. So, are they going to announce like? And I'm pretty sure I haven't seen any, unless I missed it, any matches announced for these, like the top people yet. So
Rio's taking on Jamie Hayter next week.
Well, that's the thing, but that's Rio and Jamie Hayter, right? It has nothing to do with this. So yeah, I like, okay. I mean, I'll wait to see. Maybe they're waiting like closer to the pay-per-view to have the matches. I don't know, but
yeah, it is kind of odd. The lack of matches is odd. And the one thing I didn't like about this post-match segment was the fact that it made like Rio and Sky Blue come up for the save, and it just reminded me of that segment where it was, I don't know if it was Family Guy or The Simpsons, where they like drag the security guards into the closet to steal their uniforms, but the security guards walk back out going,
Simpsons,
got them.
And Homer and Flanders, and they
it's Homer and
dusting their hands off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's that scene where, of course, they take them into the closet to beat them up, and the security guards handle them instead. Yeah. So that's exactly what I thought of this. I'm like, oh, so Rio's the challenger for the title next week, eh? I thought it would have been
Yeah,
much better booking if Rio had been able to take down all three of them and didn't have to rely on Jamie Hayter to do it for her.
makes her look strong, right?
Yeah, this made them look weak, and they need Jamie Hayter to save their ass.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
It just made the three of them look like grunts next to Jamie Hayter, who is able to take out all three of them at once. I mean, she is the women's champion, so that makes sense. But why
Mhm.
would you make your challenger look so weak next to her?
Yeah.
It,
Yep.
that made no sense to me. So anyway, didn't love that segment. Krishna, we are getting Sammy Guevara and Konosuke Takeshita on Rampage.
That's gonna be an amazing match. Like, that's gonna be a fantastic match.
Yep. And I mean, on the same card that we get Best Friends and Kings of the Black Throne.
And that's it, right? I was about to be like, where is the House of Black? Then I realized I heard that Buddy Matthews is potentially injured. Maybe not serious, hence why the Kings of the Black Throne are going to be there. Because it is just the two of them, right?
Yes.
Not Matthews. Yep. Yeah. So that's probably what's delaying their trio stuff a bit. But yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Like Kings of the Black Throne, come on.
Yep, and then Action Andretti and Juice Robinson. So Rampage is shaping up quite nicely this week.
Great, good show. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And then we get a Hobbs video. It's March 24th, 2023 was Book of Hobbs Day. He's taken out Christopher Daniels and the Lucha Brothers, and the TNT Championship will never leave his waist.
I hope it doesn't, because it's been fun. Like I like him, and hey, he's had great matches, right? So I'm like, so again, he fought Phoenix. Well, he beat up Wardlow. He fought Phoenix, and Penta. Who's he fighting next? Did they announce that, or
No, this was just
like a quick promo, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested who he's fighting next. Like, well, sure, let's keep going. Like, I would say like I would love to see him against someone like a Darby Allin or a Jungle Boy, but they can't fight him now because they can't lose, right? So I'm just curious who else is gonna step up.
I'm sure if we looked at the roster, we could probably find a bunch of people who are not being used right now that could have a really good match with him. Speaking of people who can have really good matches, we have Adam Cole taking on Daniel Garcia, and there is a massive reaction for Adam Cole, of course. Garcia actually got the second entrance, which I was a little bit surprised. I'm like, okay, whatever. They grapple for a bit, then pick up speed with some running attacks until Cole takes Garcia down with a headlock. Garcia counters into a figure four neck lock, then a pile driver that sends Cole to the floor, and that's your story. I mean, it's target his head because he's coming back from those concussions. The sign of the night was then in the audience. Ryan Nemeth stole my ticket. Garcia waits for a count up and then decides to go for a pile driver on the floor, but Cole counters into a backdrop and rolls back in the ring, clutching his neck. Garcia guillotines Cole on the ropes on his way back in and then stomps him down. He continues the beatdown for a bit, almost all of his offense targeting Cole's head. Cole finally gets to his feet, takes Garcia down with two sledges and a kick, followed by the Ushi-Goroshi. He then goes for a thrust kick, but Garcia counters. They exchange pump kicks, and Garcia lands a German suplex. Cole grabbing his head. Garcia goes for a thrust kick, but Cole counters with a huge one of his own for two. Cole goes for the boom, but Garcia ducks and lands a hammer and anvil strikes and goes for a rear choke, but Cole reverses into a pin for two. He goes for the Panama Sunrise, but Garcia counters into the Dragon Tamer until Cole reaches the ropes. Garcia then hits an arm trap pile driver for two. He runs at Cole, and Cole hits a thrust kick followed by the Panama Sunrise and the boom for the three.
Yeah, so by default, obviously, this was my match of the night. I think maybe I was kind of in awe of the fact that I was worried. I was worried about this match. I thought, remember I mentioned maybe Adam Cole's got some rust on him, maybe who knows, eh? Smart move putting him against Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia looked fantastic in this match. I must say, he looked great in this match. And Adam Cole looked fantastic as well in this match. I was like, wow, Adam Cole, like, you're selling well. Like the way that they were dropping him on his neck and stuff, I was like, holy shit, what the hell, right? But these guys worked really well together, really well. Some of the reversals, like when Cole did the first Panama Sunrise, but I thought he had messed it up, but it was really Garcia reversing it, right? I was like, oh shoot, that was different. Right? He reversed it into like the sharpshooter or whatever they call it, right?
Dragon Tamer.
The Dragon Tamer, yeah. And he had that Dragon Tamer in tight. I was like, holy shit, like he's breaking this guy's back. And I love how Excalibur's like, I'm like, I know that's not his neck, but it's his spine. And his spine is connected to his neck. I just love how he was. They're really and I had a good like. Listen, I love everything about the match. I didn't care for the aftermatch stuff because I know exactly what it was a commercial basically. I'm meaning when Britt came out, but
Mhm.
like I thought this match was great. I really did. I really thought this match was great. And I think maybe it was me just kind of being jaded a bit, no pun intended, by the fact that Cole's back and he was looking great. Like he looked like he was back in wrestling form. Like there was
That's
no
not
like
jaded. That's biased.
yes. Like I he just looked great and I was happy that he was back because again, as they point out, June 26, 2022 was the last time Adam Cole wrestled. It's been a very long time.
Yes.
So, I was so glad to have him back. And I thought him and Garcia just did like a fantastic job. And that's why I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to give these guys a match of the night.
Well, it was a really good match. Okay,
Mhm.
like you're right. Adam Cole's selling was good. The story was good. Right. The ending, it was good. I enjoyed the match quite a bit. I mean, it's a very solid match. I'd give it a solid 4 stars easily. Good stuff. Was it as good as Kenny Omega and Jeff Cobb to me? No. But I think too though, like you were suffering from a bit of bias of Adam Cole's return. I love Adam Cole. I love Daniel Garcia. Really good match, like I said. But it was the 1B to my 1A.
1A. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
because and that match gave me a hangover for the rest of the show, I think. So yeah, it was a very, very good match though. I enjoyed it a lot. And it was a good cap to a pretty
Hmm.
decent episode of Dynamite. But again, look at the face they built with this match.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, they've got such a massive face in Adam Cole now, right? And then Britt comes in. You pointed that out. Britt does come to the ring. We get our TV commercial, hugs them. They get streamers of all
I
things.
know.
So I'm like, really, guys? Really? I mean, how many
Yeah.
people coming back from injury get streamers?
Streamers.
Yeah, but okay. Britt comes to the ring to hug him. They get streamers, but then Chris Jericho's music hits, and out comes the Ocho. He checks on Daniel Garcia, kind of looks back over his shoulder, but then he's largely ignoring Adam
Hmm.
Cole, looks over his shoulder just a bit, and then heads off with Garcia. They stop at the top of the ramp. Jericho does the slight shoulder
Hmm.
check again, and then they leave.
Yeah, I love this. I thought this is great. Chris Jericho versus Adam Cole. What a way to push Adam Cole like to be a big baby face, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have him go up against one of the jerks of AEW, Chris Jericho. Right? This is so great. I can't wait to hear the promos. I really
Mm-hmm.
can't. Like you're gonna see like Jericho at his best, right? Coming back. And Jericho's putting Adam Cole over. No one thinks like who knows? Maybe Jericho beats him. Like maybe they do this one right on like the Ricky Starks one. Like maybe Jericho beats him first, and then Cole has to beat him, like come back. But like I'm excited for their feud that's gonna happen because it
Yep.
it kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so why not? Like they've tried the bad Adam Cole so far. It hasn't worked that well. I think they found a big baby face. So yeah, I like it.
Yep. Even though I kind of like heel Adam Cole better, but yeah, no, I agree. And a while back I said that Bryan Danielson would likely be the one to take the title off MJF. I'm beginning to doubt that with that heel
Same,
turn. So I'm
same.
like, oh, okay. Well, thanks for the swerve. By the way, what happened to Swerve? Weren't we going to get another member of his but anyway, sorry.
Trench, Parker Boudreaux, and
And
Mystery Person.
Mystery Person X. Cool. So maybe it was Adam Cole. Maybe Adam Cole was the
Maybe, oh
third
my God,
member.
Adam Cole's part of what did they call it? The Mogul Affiliates.
Yes. Could you imagine? Like, great career
I
decision there, Mr. Cole.
I haven't I like AEW really dropped the ball on the Swerve storyline. They need to like just end it as soon as possible and start something new because it doesn't make any sense anymore.
Yes, where it needs to turn on the affiliates immediately and just go back to like being
Beats up the
prominently.
affiliates.
Yeah, exactly. Just kill them. Wait, weren't we looking for a guy that can come in and like wrestle really well that can face Hobbs?
Yeah, you know what? Hobbs versus Swerve. That's a pretty good a feud there.
Yeah, see, I told you if we
Oh
thought about it, we could
shoot.
find a guy that isn't being used at all right now and put him in that match, right?
That's
But
work with a
no, but
title would be awesome.
yeah, I know that would be very cool. But to return to what I was saying before, I think they've set up Adam Cole now, and I got a sneaking feeling that if they keep going that direction, he'll be the one to take the title
Take
off
it.
MJF because they are building him into a super baby face.
I kind of have a feeling that people like Danielson don't really like when Danielson came in and said, "I'm just here to have fun. I'm
Yeah.
here to stomp people's heads in." He never, I don't remember him saying he was here to win titles. But I could be wrong. I don't remember him saying that. I remember him saying he's here to wrestle. He's here, like, he's like, I'm here to train people. I'm here to stomp some heads in. Yeah, I think he just wants to enjoy his time. Like, I don't think he really cares much about going
Yeah,
after
it's
titles,
quite possible, and I'm
right?
completely fine with that because the guy
Yeah,
doesn't need titles to put on
he
great matches.
doesn't.
So I mean,
No,
okay, Brian, give me all the Brian Danielson and Kenny Omega. I mean, that line he said to him, "You're everything that's wrong with wrestling."
wrong.
Oh, I loved that line so much. I'm like, oh, it's setting up so much stuff.
I'm just wondering, like, when he said it, all I can hear in my head was Jim Cornette. That's all I heard in my head, but not in a negative way for Danielson. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I wonder where they're going with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because everything he does is not the regular way wrestlers would act or what they would do,
Exactly.
right? So I'm like, okay, all right, I want to see this, and yeah, listen, Kenny Omega versus the entire Blackpool Combat Club, hells yes, I'm there for that, right?
Exactly.
So I'm just happy we have a singles run with Kenny right now. I'm just
Yep.
happy for that. Like,
Yep.
what
And
more
and
could I
and I
ask
and I
for?
remain hopeful to get the Brian Danielson Kenny Omega match at the pay-per-view. So
Oh shoot. You're right.
they could easily build to that.
Oh, they can easily build to that. Yeah, you're 100% they can build to that.
Yep.
Oh wow.
And then you get the
Would it
trios match.
would it be for the United States belt?
No,
United States.
no, it'll just be a
Oh.
singles match.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't need to put that title up with Danielson. There's no reason to put that title up there.
But I know we fantasy booked that, but who wins that match? The first match was a draw.
Omega.
You think Omega wins that match?
Omega needs to win it because
Because
he's got that match with Osprey coming up at Forbidden
oh
Door
yeah,
2.
yeah. But then you have Danielson lose again, right? I guess it doesn't hurt him, but
No, he's a heel
yeah,
right now, right? I
yeah,
mean, all kinds of stuff, and it's Kenny Omega. Like you
that's
don't
true. That's
get hurt
true.
at all
You can't.
wrestling an amazing match with Kenny
No,
Omega, right?
that's
Like
very
Omega
true.
puts you down with the one winged angel, you're not getting up. Okay, that's fine,
That's very true. That's very
right? I
true. No,
mean,
you're right.
yep, exactly. So, anything on this show reach the Omega level?
I don't know if anything reached the Omega level. Like I really liked a lot of the show. Like well, most of the show I really enjoyed. The promos that were cut, except the Jade one, that kind of sucked. But I mean, like most of the promos, like the opening promo, the closing of the show, like with all the story. Like this was a great show because they created so many stories, right? And they did what we complained about, not having enough stories. So I thought that that was the best part of the show. Like they pushed everything forward and they had great matches to go along with it. Now I don't know if I would consider this Omega level, but that's I don't know. That's just me. I don't think I consider this Omega level.
Well, I didn't think any of the matches were Omega level,
Yeah.
but I'm going to rate this overall Dynamite an
Mhm.
Omega level Dynamite because I
Okay.
had 3 segments tonight.
Mhm.
And like I've already talked about the way they've woven 3 possible big faces. We had the big heel turn. So much happened on this show. There's so many plot lines coming out of it that I'm like going, I want to see this. And like we were complaining about this stuff a while back that like stories didn't make sense and plot lines aren't going anywhere. And now we're sitting here looking at 3 that I'm
I
like,
know.
this is awesome. Like I am
Yeah.
excited to see where this goes. I'm excited to see what happens. And it all came out of this show. I love the way they place like beginning, middle, and end with the 3 faces,
Mhm.
right? I just wow, good job, guys. I even the structure was well done. So just based on that, the show itself was an Omega level Dynamite, one of the better Dynamites I've seen this year, based on its quality of the way it was structured and put together. storytelling, period. This was a masterpiece in wrestling storytelling tonight. Matches? No, I don't think any of the
Yeah,
matches were Omega
yeah.
level. I mean, the highest one was probably Cobb and Omega at about 4.5, right? 4.25, 4.5. So those aren't Omega level matches necessarily, but man, I loved the show. I had a great time, even though the Omega stuff gave me a bit of a hangover after that. So,
Yeah, well,
anyway.
and that's it, right? I wouldn't disagree with that, because it's like you're right. Like it's set up so many storylines, so many possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And there's even things like, again, like we said, like what's gonna happen with the Blackpool Combat Club? Is Pac coming back? Like, there's so many things that are swirling right now, and you're like, this is good. This is a good time to be an AEW fan, because you're not like doing the same thing. It's not the Acclaim versus the Guns and like the Acclaim parties and all this other stuff no one cares about, right?
Jade Cargill
It's
title celebrations.
yeah, like her 50th win or whatever the heck she's on, 70, I don't know anymore because I just don't care. Like I'm glad they actually are progressing these big stories. Like these are
Mm-hmm.
huge stories for the company. And maybe they're looking at their competitors and saying, "Hey, they actually have some stories going on. Maybe we should invest in ours as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Invest a bit in our storytelling." And tonight proved that they did.
Yep.
You have, as you said, clear baby faces, clear bad guys or heels, right? There's no like, they're kind of a bad guy, but
Mm-hmm.
they're not. They're kind of a face, but they're not. No, clear cut
Mm-hmm.
faces and heels. So I am hyped. And heck, Takeshita versus Guevara on Friday night. Oh my god, I can't wait for that match.
Yeah,
That is going to be amazing.
it's too bad Takeshi's going to have to eat the pin in that match, but
Yeah, that's true.
does that help advance the Don Callis stuff?
Ooh. Yeah, and I didn't even like, I know you're talking about all the storylines. I didn't even talk about the Don Callis thing. I don't even know where that's going now. Right? I have no clue where that's going. Right? So even that has like a little bit of like, what's happening
Well,
here?
this is what I mean, right? Like the heels are all united. We've got a united, like they came out and showed united strength tonight, and the elite are in like who knows,
Shambles.
right?
Yeah.
Like where's Hangman lie? Where does Kenny lie? What's
Mm-hmm.
Don Callis's role? Is Brandon Cutler okay after being clocked? These are important
Brandon
questions that we
Cutler.
need to know.
What about Knack, man? What about Knack?
Okay, Mac's important too, but not as important as Brandon Cutler.
Oh man. But the most important question would have to be, what music did Kenny Omega come out to
That's a
tonight?
very good question. I'm gonna have to find that out. And it'll probably be like something that we should have known and didn't.
We should have known. I couldn't, like, so remember the week I was like, oh, Kenny came out in that blue outfit, that blue
Mm-hmm.
kind of kimono, and I was like, maybe it has something to do with the game. Yes, it had something to do exactly do with the game that came out, the
Right.
Yakuza game, right? But I hadn't when I heard that music, I'm like, I don't even know, or I've never heard that music. If I had heard, like, if that music was something I've heard before, I'd be like, okay, that was from this or that. Nothing. I couldn't think of anything. And I'm even looking at Twitter right now just in case to see if
Mm-hmm.
people have like talked about the opening. But like, oh, here we go. Here it goes. Kenny Omega came out to Devil's Sky. Should we know Devil's Sky is?
Mm, I don't.
It says Kenny Omega holding an IWGP belt. By the way, I didn't know that what IWGP stood for until Excalibur said it today. And
Oh, it's an
and
old New Japan entrance of his.
yeah, so there you go. That's where it was. So Devil
Mm-hmm.
Sky, Kenny Omega, um, yeah.
Yeah, he was using it way back in 2016.
So that's probably why I didn't hear
Yeah.
it. Okay,
Yep.
makes sense.
Yeah, it would have been a little bit before my core time getting into New Japan, so that makes a lot of sense. Um, so we now know we have learned something, and that is a positive. We have learned
Hmm.
something we didn't know. You know what else I just learned? Super Card of Honor, Daniel Garcia is facing Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. When they showed the graphic, I was like, okay. And Wheeler Yuta is facing that guy, Bill, that Orange Cassidy faced. Totally forgetting his name now.
The
The
Butcher.
guy. No, not the butcher.
No, I know who you mean. Katsuyori Shibata.
Shibata, yeah, Shibata.
Yep.
He's finishing Shibata.
Yep. No, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's almost like the Super Card of Honor card is actually really good, and I wish I had time to watch one more pay-per-view after I have so much Stardom to watch, right? So, you know, anyway, but we've probably blabbed at these poor people long enough tonight about AEW wrestling. So I believe it might just be time, and I will be grateful for this as well because it's been a fun show tonight. It
Mhm.
is time for us to bring this sea of positivity to an end. And as the great one always says, goodbye, everybody. Mwah, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.